So let's discuss Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon.
Pokemon! 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 Pokemon!
Hello everyone, I'm Dustin Benzel, and welcome to another Pokemon discussion. Today's topic, of course, is the analysis of the trailer of Pokemon Sun and Moon. I realize that I'm a little late on this. It's been almost a week since the reveal trailer has come out, and I do want to apologize, but I had a video in the process. I recorded another video, but I was taking too long to edit that particular video, and I had to get the Ash Capture Speculation video edited first, since that was the first thing that I was trying to do, but then of course then the episode came out and then the reveal, so I had to push back to later, so I really wanted to get that done. And then by the time I was getting ready to edit the Pokemon Sun and Moon video that I did, I realized that it just didn't matter anymore. So I decided to just basically redo the entire video and everything like that. In response to my live reaction, I said this in my Twitter, there really wasn't anything. I was just like waiting and waiting and waiting, and then basically we got what we did, and so I wasn't exactly as impressed as when I first saw it, so of course I'm not going to add that at all. It was just me saying, oh, they revealed the games, oh, that's cool, and that was pretty much it. So it wasn't as epic as I thought it was going to be, so unfortunately no reaction to the trailer either. So of course what I'm going to do in this particular instance is I have images in regards to the trailer that I'm going to talk about, still images that you will see, and I will discuss them. Now a lot of these discussions I probably have already seen some other YouTubers. There's like 2 YouTubers that I watched their Pokemon Sun and Moon in the meantime while I was doing other things, and so some of their ideas may have come from them or whatever, so it's not like I'm coming up with all of these thoughts all by myself or whatever, you know, like some of them I think are, but others you probably have seen other YouTubers talking about this, so let's just do this. Now, in this particular video, it's going to be slightly different than my usual format. I'm not just going to have an image right over here and just talk about the image. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show the image full outright, covering the entire screen, and then I'm going to do a description of that image and a little bit of what I can see in that particular image as a description. And of course, in that instance, I will be talking about the description, and then when I'm done talking about the description so you can see the full image, then it'll be shrunk down here for the remainder as I talk about my thoughts about that image. The reason why I'm doing this is because I've been noticing when I'm editing using my editing software that sometimes my quality is bad. When I was trying to do some like game related videos, which I'm not sure I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it due to the audio and video being out of sync, and I can't edit a video that's completely out of sync with each other. The audio and video, it makes it incredibly difficult, almost impossible for me to edit, and so those game-like videos that I was going to hopefully upload, so it's not just about Pokemon, just didn't quite work out. I'll keep giving it a shot, and if not, I can at least maybe get one of them up or whatever. But when I was editing one of those videos, I noticed that the text was very low quality, and the weird thing is the actual video file itself was pretty fine. You could like read the text just fine, but in the video, when you have the video within the actual editing software, the text is a little weird. So the reason why I'm doing this complete overlay of these particular images so you can see while I'm talking about it is so you can get the best idea of what that is. You know, it might not be the best quality, it may not be as sharp as I'm seeing it, but hopefully you'll see enough of it, or you'll know to look at the clear images that are all over the internet to get a better idea of what I'm talking about. Of course, when I'm talking about something in particular, I will of course point an arrow at what I'm talking about if it's something very specific. So I have 12 images here of the trailer. Uh, a lot of them are connected to the same thing, but just different frames that I want to talk about a little bit. So that's pretty much it. So let's jump right into image number one. Okay, so what we have here in image number one is, of course, Junichi Masuda, and of course, he's like looking at these particular images. Let's see here. Going over shots of Pokemon Sun and Moon with some other guy. What we see in these images, what looks to be like it could be a cafe, and that, of course, I'm referring to this particular part right here. You see the arrow that's pointing to what I think is a Pokemon cafe. So then, of course, we got some images up here in the very top corner. Don't know if you're going to be able to. Yeah, you'll probably get an arrow at the very top that's like kind of cut off. It looks like we got basic drawings of the Pokemon Center or whatever, and then below that, of course, we have what looks like a Pokemart stall. It looks like it's something that might be in the Pokemon Center. And then, of course, there's that Pokemon Cafe that I'm talking about. Oh, and then, of course, at the bottom are the basic drawings of the Pokemon Center. So I think the top ones are more complete images of the Pokemon Center. Of course, there's these other images that I can't really see to the side, but I'm sure they're relating to the Pokemon Center. So what does this image mean? Well, I think it, at the very least, it shows us that we're getting Pokemon redesigns of the Pokemon Center. In the X and Y, they were kind of like rectangular buildings. You went in, they were like pretty big or whatever. So with the future image that I'll show you with the actual redesigns of the Pokemon Center, you'll see that they're different. So of course, with the in X and Y, the Pokemon Mart was like in the back, like you went into the Pokemon Center. There was, of course, Nurse Joy doing the desk where you give her a Pokemon, and then it went over to the side, and there was like this back room, and in the back room was the Pokemon Mart. So it seems that with this stall, that the Pokemon Center, if it's including this particular Pokemart stall, that it seems like the Pokemon Centers are going to be a lot more streamlined. They're going to be smaller and sleeker, and they're just going to be to the point. And I think it's very possible that, although I'm going to talk about that when I talk about the Pokemon Center, but yeah, it does look like I do make a note here that this actually shows that maybe the Pokemon Center doesn't need to be gigantic. It could still serve its purpose and be small, and that way it just doesn't have to cover a lot of things. But I will discuss more on that when we actually get to the image of the Pokemon Center, which is like, I think, a few images away. Like, yeah, there's like one image, and then of course the Pokemon Center image. So let's talk about the Pokemon Cafe that I pointed out earlier. Now, as I said with the Pokemon Center, well, I don't know if I quite said this, but because I may have forgot, but it's really nice the X and Y, and I think even Unova did this, where the Pokemon Marts are within the Pokemon Center, and I think that makes sense because when you want to heal your Pokemon, you possibly want to buy items for your Pokemon or for relating to your adventure, so it makes sense for them to be in the same building. However, the difference with a Pokemon Cafe, for example, is that considering it's a restaurant type building, a restaurant type place or whatever, or I don't know what you want to call it, a barista maybe I don't know, but just a small shop or whatever, it makes sense that that might be a separate building entirely, although it's not entirely confirmed. So what would it mean for there to be a Pokemon Cafe? Um, one of my thoughts is that maybe Pokemon Sun and Moon might offer the player extra jobs. You know, instead of just like battling Pokemon trainers or whatever, and you can like go to these particular shops and get money. In fact, I think this was very similar to Black and White, where you actually had control over something, where I think you actually got a little bit of money potentially. like you were like the manager of a bunch of stores or something like that. You could go like buy items or something, and I'm not sure if you got money out of it, but you may have gotten money out of it. I'm sure there are lots of games like out there where you actually are like the manager type position where you can go in there and get jobs. But I think it was just something extra for you to have or whatever. I don't know if you got paid for it, but what I'm saying is that in Pokemon Sun and Moon, you might actually have other jobs where you can get a little bit of extra money for doing your job, and how this would relate. And and I'm not really sure what's going to happen with the day-night cycle in Pokemon X, or not Pokemon, Pokemon Sun and Moon. I don't know what the time day-night cycle is going to look like. It could be like the other Pokemon games where it's relating to based on your timestamp of your console or previous generations, depended on the battery. The battery for your time within the actual game, like you set your time, and there was like this special battery that actually controlled what time it was, and if it like ran out, you could still play it, but a lot of the time day night features wouldn't include it. And then it was like fourth gen, I think, where it was based solely on your console's timestamp, the DS or the 3DS or whatever. So it might be something like that, and something like that might prevent jobs. But if it's very similar to a lot of games out there where it has its own day-night cycle, and it would make sense that this would have its own day-night cycle because it is called Sun and Moon, and you would think that that if you wanted to like play it within 24 hours or something, you want to do a speed run, it wouldn't make sense to wait until like 6 p.m. or something when your 3DS says 6 p.m. just so you can play a certain event at that particular time. So I think it might be something like Harvest Moon. If you've ever played Harvest Moon, it has its own day-night cycle where a whole day is like the equivalent of like 5 minutes or something. Or depending on how much you do within the game, and then you could just go to sleep to restore your energy or something like that. So it could be something like that, and while I don't necessarily expect it, it would make sense and would be interesting. And how it might relate to a cafe type job is that you might there'll be this specific day-night cycle, of course, that you'll have to deal with, and then of course you can go into the cafe, work for a couple of hours or something like that, get paid for it, and then move on to something else, or and maybe you'll get like some sort of benefit for working. um, I'm expecting maybe something like that, and and for Pokemon it kind of makes sense. What really bothered me is that they tried to make the day night cycle too much like real time, that it was kind of a hassle to evolve certain Pokemon unless you change the time on your device, and sometimes changing the time on your device or the date would have negative aspects with on your game, like certain day events wouldn't happen because you had to wait until the next time, or that you'd have to actually wait 24 hours exactly. And I felt like that didn't really make any sense for a game like Pokemon that had specific time events, that it wouldn't make sense to have to wait until that time. It could easily take weeks for you to be comfortably capturing and evolving certain Pokemon. If a Pokemon evolves during the day, you can only evolve it during the day, and you have to be like right on it. And assuming that you even have the time to evolve like Eevee into Espeon or something, there's always the chance that you're too busy and you have to wait until the next day. So it really made no sense that you had to wait for the actual time or alter the device's timestamp on it. So I do think if they're trying to include Pokemon Sun and Moon, that they're create these artificial day-night cycle or whatever, that might revert back to the normal games prior or something like that once you defeat the main plot or whatever. But maybe it'll have its own like day-night cycle, that a couple of hours will be like day, a couple of minutes will be night or something like that, or whatever the instance may be, so you don't necessarily have to wait. Now, the upside to having real time frames is that you potentially have a lot more time to evolve your specific Pokemon. So if you were dealing with a day-night cycle, you may only have like 5 minutes before it changes the time, and therefore you can't evolve it. So then you have to wait like 10 more minutes or something before you can evolve it again, which really isn't that much of a hassle. I mean, it works for Harvest Moon and stuff, and for games like that. It gives you plenty of time, and then it at least gives you more of a reason to continue playing the game if it had its own day-night cycle. But I guess we'll have to see. But outside of a job possibility, what could this Pokemon Cafe offer you? What I'm thinking is maybe if it's an actual building that actually offers you things and not just something you go in there to potentially battle other trainers or whatever. I think in first generation or second generation there was this restaurant of sorts that was near a water area that I think you went in, you got to battle some of the trainers, but when you talked to the guy that would actually give you food, he was like on break or he told you something else or something. So it was never like an important building outside of maybe a couple of battles. So I'm hoping that this particular hypothetical cafe will actually have importance. And what that could be is, of course, a variety of drinks with variety of effects. You know, maybe your cappuccino will temporarily boost your Pokemon speed within the battle or something, or maybe it'll heal a certain amount of HP or something, you know, and maybe it'll be like long-term temporary effects, you know, like some games where you have an item, you eat something, it gives you a positive status effect, but it also gives you duration. So maybe it'll give your Pokemon like these certain secondary temporary effects that you can battle a couple of times with. You know, maybe you're a little bit stronger, you're a little bit faster until that particular status effect wears off. Or if not, maybe there could be like player status effects, you know, like maybe you drink something and it'll affect your chances. Maybe like finding rare Pokemon easier, or capturing Pokemon is a little bit easier, or maybe you drink a drink that actually acts as a repel for certain Pokemon. It could be anything like that. So I guess we'll just have to see what it is and stuff. So I think I've gone long enough on this particular image. So let's move on to the next one, and let's hurry up with these. Okay, so what we have here is basically an image of the president and CEO of the Pokemon Company. I don't really know his name. Here's a text of it. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Janucci Masuda. I probably butchered enough, and his looks a lot more difficult. Now, the important thing to note about this particular image is he is drawing the Japanese logos of the of Pokemon Sun and Moon, and that really doesn't mean anything by itself. But what's important to know is that the logos of Pokemon Sun and Moon in the Japanese, yeah, is these. And what you'll notice in these particular logos for the Japanese, what you'll notice in the Japanese logos of Pokemon Sun and Moon is these particular gems. We have this blue gem for Pokemon Sun and this red gem for Pokemon Moon. So what does this mean? So of course, when we talk about logos, the Japanese logos for X and Y, the Japanese logos of X and Y actually had that rainbow-colored DNA helix, and of course that's the symbol that happens when a Pokemon Mega Evolves. In the anime, we kind of see this when there's a Pokemon that Mega Evolves. We kind of get that rainbow helix type thing indicating Mega Evolution. So what could it mean in regards to the stone? If it's relating something similar to Mega Evolution, maybe it's like a different type of evolution. Maybe it'll be like Primal Reversion, or maybe it'll be what we get with Ash Greninja. Maybe it'll be like Synchro Evolution or something. Or maybe I'm looking at too much into this, and maybe there's a much easier, that's a new word, easier, coined by Dustin, 2016. Maybe the easier explanation is that these are the particular items in relation to the legendary Pokemon. Maybe not quite like the red orb or the blue orb, or even in black and white. There were those black and white orbs or something like that that would turn into like QREM or not QREM, Reshram or Zekrom or whatever, and basically when it's in that particular stone form or whatever, that means that Pokemon is like in its resting state. Basically, it's like severe hibernation resting state, I believe. So it may be something like that, or maybe it just contains the power of those particular legendary Pokemon, and that you can like control the day and night. So maybe all of a sudden it's nighttime when it was just sunny just a few moments ago, and of course that might be why we get a very specific day-night cycle that's different than the other Pokemon games. So that's all I wanted to say about the logos, and of course you would already have seen those logos, and you'll see those gems in the Japanese logo. So maybe that's what it's in relation to. So quickly going on to the third image, of course, what we have here is I accidentally deleted it here. Well, I didn't delete it, I accidentally closed it. What we have here is the redesigns of the Pokemon Center. There's also other things that I want to note about this image. Up here to the right of the top of this Pokemon Center looks like a dome-shaped building. I don't know what that is. It looks like it could be important. And then, of course, we have this black mass to the right of this window, and above the door, there's this black mass. I don't know what this particular means, but I said in my notes that I think this might be similar to a third generation remakes of red and green. So we got fire red and leaf green, and I think in that we had location cutscenes where you would like enter a cave like Mount Moon or something like that, and it would show you like this image overlay of Mount Moon as you were entering it. So it was like its own cutscene, and it kind of looks like it could be that. And I don't know what this could be. It could be like a old ancient building here, or maybe it's like a grassy area, like a greenhouse or something like that. So maybe that's a thing or whatever. And of course, I just bring this up because there is another image that actually might be more representative of what I'm trying to say. But anyway, we got these particular images of the Pokemon Center, which is really cool. And I really like the redesign of the Pokemon Center because it looks so much smaller than the previous Pokemon Centers. At least it's more cylindrical in comparison to the other Pokemon Centers that were like rectangular. So we got like this cylindrical design, so it's more rounded at the top and stuff. So yeah, it looks really cool and awesome to see. And it does look like these particular Pokemon Centers can like be placed anywhere. In my notes, I said that it kind of looks like these are like transportable Pokemon Centers. You know, like there's like this giant helicopter type thing that flies down, and you attach the Pokemon Center to this helicopter, and of course, then you fly away. So I think that's pretty much all I wanted to say about the new Pokemon Centers. So it looks really cool that we got this particular Pokemon Center. So let me, of course, move on to the next image, of course, and that is the images with all the vehicles. So in this particular image, what we have is we have trucks with Pokemon in the back. I think we got like Wobbuffet, Furfrou, and Machamp. We have a male character that kind of resembles a Snorlax next to a female character. Okay, we got more truck designs, and then of course below that, like directly below that, we get what looks like a mobile Pokemon Center. Yeah, like a mobile Pokemon Center, like an automobile Pokemon Center. And to the left of that, we get like fire emergency vehicles with the Blastoise. So these are like the Pokemon world of fire trucks or whatever with the Blastoise and stuff. So what could this possibly mean in relation to the vehicles? I think what this could mean is that this entire region might be very big. It might be twice as big as like the Kalos region. You know, I don't know what Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire did with the Hoenn region. I don't know how big that was in relation to the actual third generation games, but I'm thinking this might be the biggest region yet. Well, not counting potential future generations where the games might be up to like 16 gigabytes per game or whatever. I don't. That's going to be pretty massive, but so yeah, I feel like this just adds a lot more, and I think maybe this could be a hint that the Kalos region might also be included within the games, or if not the entirety of the Kalos region, maybe just like parts of it. Like in X and Y, when you first got to Lumio City, you couldn't explore the entire city because of the blackout that Clement was fixing within the games or whatever. So you had to come back when you got like 4 gems, then you could come back and Lumios would be back to normal. And because of that, Lumio City basically had 2 different Pokemon centers. It had like a North Lumios Pokemon Center and then a South Lumios Pokemon Center. So I feel like something like that, like the blackout, might prevent the entirety of the Kalos region being explored, but you can explore enough of the Kalos region to maybe deal with whatever might be going on with the Zygarde plot going on potentially. So then of course we go to the fire truck. I think the fire truck is going to be really cool. I think it'd be really cool to see a building on fire or even a forest, and then of course this fire truck with Blastoise. We can like have a cut scene potentially at some point where this Blastoise is like putting out the fire, which would be really cool and interesting to see. So I think there might be even more realistic things within the this particular game. We'll see a lot more of the things that we don't normally see in the Pokemon world because we're too busy focused on this one particular event. So what this could mean in regards to the mobile Pokemon Center is maybe it'll be like in forest areas or some places that don't have Pokemon Center, and maybe you can actually enter the back, since it looks like the back of the ambulance looks like it could be considered a small Pokemon Center. You know, it could be like a stand within a thing or whatever where you go up to Nurse Joy and give her your Pokemon and it'll heal you. You know, hopefully there'll be also like nurses and doctors as well, just like at like entrances of caves and stuff where you can talk to that'll heal your Pokemon and stuff. And of course to the right, I think, and I'm not entirely sure, I didn't even think of this in the notes, I was too busy focused on the things, but I think that might be a boat there with the Wingull next to it. You'll see the image again, really big again over my face or whatever. But yeah, you'll see Wingull here, and then you'll see this particular thing, and I think it's a sail, like wind sail or something like that. So I think this might be like some sort of boat or something, which would be interesting. And we got water, so maybe we'll get like a big watery area within the games or something like that that could like really show off the boating and stuff or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty interesting, and I feel like this is just saying they're just adding more elements to the Pokemon world. I don't really think we're gonna get anything really dark within Pokemon Sun and Moon. I don't expect like Pikachu to be on a gurney going up to the mobile Pokemon Center thing or whatever, but it could happen or whatever. But I just feel like they're adding more things into this particular region outside of just the usual things that we always see. So hopefully we'll get to see these things a lot more in action when we get the games. Alright, time to move on to the next image. Now, thank you, Dustin. What we needed was to see some guy working with his hands working on the keyboard. Now hold on. That's not why this image is here. This image is here because of in the background we have this blurry image and stuff or whatever. When I first thought of this, I thought it was like something to do with water. I mentioned like an aquifer, maybe like it could be like a particular location with water. But the more I looked at it, I thought, maybe it could be like a prison or a church or some sort of building or whatever. But when I really took a closer look at that particular yellow object, I realized that's actually a truck, which basically means I think this is just a house. And so I know that doesn't really mean anything, but it does seem like it's possible that maybe we'll get our own houses within the games. Maybe we'll leave our parents' home or something like that, go on an adventure, and at some point we'll actually get a house of our own. And maybe this will be represented by this particular thing. I mean, I don't think we're going to get a truck and drive it around. That would be kind of cool, but if we did have a truck, it would probably just say, it would probably just act like a fast travel. You wouldn't be able to control it. It would like automatically take you to your location. And plus, I don't even think, I think even in the Pokemon world, I don't think children are allowed to drive quite yet. They may be allowed to go on their own and go on an adventure, but I'm not sure they're allowed to drive yet. And it might be like a size thing or an age thing or whatever. So maybe there will be like someone in that truck or whatever driving you around. So, but it would be cool if we actually did get a building or a house that we actually purchased with our Pokemon money, that we could like do whatever we want. We could like customize it. We could have our own bed. Maybe we'll get like some sort of special tool or item that allows us to heal our Pokemon or something. It would be interesting if that was included within the games as well. You know, we have had something similar. I think it was Platinum that actually introduced the character's villa, where we actually got our own villa, and of course we got Flint and Volkner visiting. We had all the characters visiting, even Cynthia visited. So hopefully we'll get something like that again. Okay, so of course let's move on to the next one. Now, this particular image has 7 photos in particular that I'm going to talk about. We're going to ignore the gigantic, obvious image here, which is using the Windows photo viewer that I'm actually using right now to actually look at these images. That's actually hilarious. Yeah, that is absolutely hilarious that we have this Windows photo viewer thing and it looks exactly like mine. That is hilarious. But anyway, I just noticed that right now. But anyway, we're not going to talk about the gigantic image because there's another image relating to that. So let's go ahead and talk about these smaller ones. Okay, so in this particular photo is what we got is a truck and what looks like a motel of some sorts. You know, maybe you can go there and like rest your Pokemon or something like that, heal your Pokemon up, or even go to these particular rooms and battle special trainers. Maybe we'll get like gym leaders and other characters from the other games like visiting this particular motel, and then you could like battle them or something like that. You know, probably like a post game thing, you know, at the Elite Four or something like that. And then of course to the direct right of that, it looks like we've got some sort of room. And I feel like this kind of hints to trainer customization. I feel like this is a room where you can go in and you can like exchange your clothing for something else or whatever. So I feel like that's what that is right there. So then right below the motel truck image, we have this like dark building, and I think it might even be a like a factory or warehouse or even a giant log cabin of sorts or lodgings of sort. It does look like it's a huge building, and I'm just a little excited that we're going to see this particular image later on. And then of course we get to this image on the right, and I'm not really sure what this is. I think someone said this could be an aquarium of sorts. Maybe it's in relation to the other giant image or whatever. But I'm not really sure. I can't really see very much of this. But it does look like it's just layers of particular rooms and areas that you can see within the games. And, you know, to the right of that image right here, this like little tank thing or whatever, that actually might be an aquarium of sorts. And of course, and I have no idea what that smaller image is in the bottom left of that particular image. So then we move on to the very bottom image that is really cut off, and it almost looks like the top screen of a 3DS or a new 3DS. And the only thing I want to say about that is potentially that yes, the Pokemon Sun and Moon is confirmed for the 3DS. So then of course we run into this smaller image below the giant image. and it looks like it could be two of either things. I don't know what Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire did, but I do think this particular image might be reminiscent to the starter selection of third generation, where there was like this grassy area, and there was like these three Pokeballs, and then there was like a Professor Birch's bag there. I think they may have left that in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, but then of course you choose your starter, and I feel like this might be the starter selection screen, because I think I kind of see some kind of bag in here. I could be wrong. It's just a possibility. But what I think this is more in relation to is what I said earlier in regards to the black mass on that one image, and I said that it looks like it's like some sort of image cutscene, location cutscene of your location, and I think this is what it could be. I think this might be the cutscene, the overlay image that we get when we're entering a new place. And I feel like this could be like a forest type area or something like that. Otherwise, I have no idea what that is, and it'll be interesting to see what it could be in the games, although I'm probably not going to recognize it because it's so blurry. So that's pretty much it. So then, of course, let's talk about the giant image, of course, and that's, of course, this gigantic building right here. What we have here is we have a horsey fountain. We have this field design, Staryu sign, and Chinshu. Of course, we have these two characters that look very incomplete, and I say in my notes that that I really hope these aren't fully fleshed designs, because the male character that you see looks very stick figure. You know how in stick figures they have those like long eyes that represent their eyes, and I'm really hoping that's not the character's eyes, because that's going to be completely awkward. Maybe the image isn't clear enough. Maybe it's just some sort of black tattoo on the side of his face, something in regards to trainer customization, but they do look a lot different than the rest of the image, especially the male character. So what this image could be of, and other people have suggested this, I feel like this is the Pokemon Center, or not the Pokemon Center, the Pokemon Gym, a Pokemon Gym. And of course, this would, with everything being represented, I think it could be a water gym even. And some people have suggested maybe it's just like a giant aquarium or whatever, and I say, well, it could be both, because this really does look like a very big building, that if this was wasted on just an aquarium, like the Pewter City Museum or something like that, or the Slateport Museum or whatever it was, where you can go into a museum. So if this was just a water type museum, that would be a little disappointed, but it does look like a Pokemon gym. And this is definitely interesting. So, and I'm saying in my notes that I think this is the biggest Pokemon gym, if this is the gym that we've ever seen. Prism Tower, I think, is the tallest, but I think this is the biggest square feet, in that it's going to be like its own particular, I mean, who knows, maybe the Pokemon Center is in this. And the interesting thing that I know here is I think this particular building is going to be in the largest city of the entirety of the games. You know, like, it's going to be very similar to Lomeo City, or Celadon, or Goldenrod, or Mauville, Hearthome, or even Nimbasa, or even Castelia Town, I believe, or Castelia or whatever. I feel like it's going to be the biggest location within the games, or it's going to be within the biggest city of the game. So I think this is the central hub of the Pokemon region that we're in, and this will just be like the biggest attraction. There, of course, might be bigger things that we'll see, but I really feel like this is going to be a huge part of the particular city that we're in. If this is a gym, or the placement of the gym, I'm thinking it's either going to be 4, 5, or 6. If this is the central hub, maybe this will be like something that you can reach, but it'll also be the middle or whatever. And it'll be interesting to see what brand new water type Pokemon will be included in these particular games, that there would actually be a gym. After all, X and Y didn't exactly include that many water type Pokemon. I don't think 5th gen did either, so maybe there'll be like 7 or 8 Pokemon lines of water types, and maybe we'll see whatever. In regards to the Pokemon that we see, I don't know if I want the gym leader to have any of those Pokemon, except maybe Seadra. It would be kind of interesting to see the gym leader having Seadra or something like that. Not that I wouldn't mind like a Spheal or a Celio or a Lantern or something like that, or even a Staryu or Starmie, but I just don't really expect it. Those could be the other trainers within the gym. So anyway, that covers that particular image, so let's move on to the next one. And of course, these particular 5 images are in relation to the other one. So I'm just going to quickly discuss them. I'm going to show you really quickly, discuss what you see for a few seconds or whatever, and then move on. So, and discuss it in great detail. So the first image, we have this guy who's working on an animation, and what we see is he's working on a wireframe of a Pokemon. So what exactly is he working on? Let's move to the next frame. And this is the next frame, and what we got here is we have an oddly shaped head, which is kind of teardrop shaped, and of course we have this like rounded beak or something like that. It looks like a like a like a like a thorn, like off of a rose bush or something like that, only more rounder. And then of course we got wings, of course. And this pretty much confirms that this is a brand new Pokemon. A lot of people were saying Fletchling. I did try to make a video disproving that it was Fletchling, but I think at this particular point it's a little late to make any video in relation to why it's not Fletchling. But basically this confirms that it's not Fletchling, because Fletchling does not have a teardrop shaped head, nor does it have obvious talons as this particular bird Pokemon has. So let's of course move on to the next image, of course, which actually shows that its head is not quite teardrop shaped as we once thought, and we can actually see right here there is this little curve. I know it's hard to see, but because we see the outline of the head and we see this like triangular spike, it definitely says that there is a giant space there between there that would actually create that illusion. Otherwise we wouldn't have got. Otherwise, it would have been flat. We wouldn't have gotten this top image of the head if it wasn't a little bit different than we thought or whatever. But yeah, it definitely shows that it's different. Definitely shows that it has a spiky head, or a curved head at least. So then we move on to the next frame, and then this is just the final image of this particular thing. And I just wanted to show you this just because of those wings and those little tail, and just to show that this is going to be a very tiny bird. These particular images show that this particular Pokemon is going to be pretty tiny for a Pokemon. So then we go into the final image of this particular bird Pokemon, and it definitely looks a lot more fleshed out. We can see that it has a curved head, not a pointy teardrop shape that we had. It's just like a it's a curved head with a pointy end or whatever. And of course we got beaks and stuff or whatever, and then we have this red and white coloring, and we have those little talons at the bottom below all this text or whatever. So we definitely see that this is a new Pokemon, because this is unrelated to anything we've ever had before. Now I don't know what this Pokemon is based off of. A lot of people are saying maybe it's a woodpecker, and and the problem with it being a woodpecker is if this is the starting bird, it being a woodpecker makes it almost hard for me to imagine it being any other typing other than normal flying, which is probably what this bird Pokemon is anyway. But even when it evolves, and this Pokemon is definitely small enough to evolve, it's not like Chatot, where Chatot is like at least looks taller based on its design or whatever. So this definitely looks like a basic stage of a Pokemon that can evolve further. But like I said, outside of a normal flying or a grass flying, I can't imagine what a woodpecker would be. Now, if this was based off of a crane, I do have some thoughts of what else there could be. Now, a woodpecker, it could possibly be ice and flying, since those are super effective against grass types, and a tree would be a grass type. A tree Pokemon would be part grass. And of course, woodpeckers are known to poke holes into trees, so they're not exactly friendly with trees or whatever. So that's probably why flying types are super effective against grass, is because of that. But if it was a crane, there is one image that it could be, and of course that's the Japanese crane. Cranes are basically things that could be in water, and if you look up Google and you look up the Japanese crane, you'll see that it's on snow. You'll see it walking along snow, so it could lead credence to the possibility that a crane, a Japanese crane-based Pokemon, could be part ice, and that'll definitely be a unique typing, because the only other ice-flying Pokemon that I am aware of is Delibird and Articuno. I actually forgot to look at if there was anything else, but I'm pretty sure there isn't. Yep, just Delibird and Articuno are the only ice-flying Pokemon, so it'll definitely be fairly unique for a starter bird Pokemon to turn into an ice-flying when it evolves and stuff, and it'll definitely be interesting to see. As much as I would enjoy an ice-flying Pokemon, I feel like there should have been other bird designs with potential other typing in relation to flying types, but it's okay. If this is an actual ice flying Pokemon that once it evolves it'll become an ice flying Pokemon, I'll definitely look forward to it, since ice Pokemon tend to be only gotten later in the games, like mostly the end of the generation, or the end of the games basically, like around the 6th, 7th, and 8th gym is where you might get flying types, or an ice type Pokemon. So it's really nice if potentially we could get something a little bit earlier, like say the first starting region, maybe the first part of the maybe the starting town and cities and stuff. Maybe it'll take place in a snowy field, and the more you go outward, you'll get into like the warmer climates, the beaches and stuff, or whatever. So that would definitely be interesting to um, wait and see what could happen for that particular thing. Also, what I'm actually hoping for, and I know the past couple of generations have included a lot, but you know, a lot more fire Pokemon wouldn't be too bad, personally. I feel like we can't get enough fire Pokemon that are available options. I know 5th gen introduced a whole bunch of them. Um, the Kalos region 6th gen didn't really introduce all that much. There's just basically Talonflame, Delphox, and Pyroar basically, and their pre-evolutions for the most part. So it'll definitely be interesting if we get quite a bit more fire Pokemon going on this particular generation as well. Yeah, see, there's just Fennekin, Braixen, and then Pyroar, Litleo, Talonflame, Fletchinder. Oh, and Volcanion, of course, is a fire type. So, yeah. So that, of course, is that. That's pretty much all I have to say about this particular video. Whew. Man, that's quite a big video here. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say about the trailer. Hope you enjoyed this very long video. I'm sorry that it went out this long. Hopefully I'll cut some stuff out. And there's just things to look forward to in my other videos. There are 2 guaranteed videos that you will see, and then 1 potential other video. Of course, you will definitely see my anime version of Pokemon Sun and Moon, where I discuss how it might affect the anime, the Pokemon Sun and Moon. Maybe discuss what could happen in that in regards to the characters and stuff. And then, of course, the second video that I plan on doing, of course, is the review for the Zapdos and Noivern episode and everything in regards to that particular thing. And also the video that you also might see, which probably will be uploaded later at some point, is, of course, potentially I might do a commentary reaction of the Pokemon episode. What I'm going to do is probably just record my reaction to the Noibat, or the Noibat evolving episode, Zapdos and stuff, whatever, where I will sit down, watch the episode, record and stuff, and then maybe I'll put Maybe I'll edit and put some images of certain moments within it so you can see what I'm looking at. And then, of course, maybe you could like follow along. The only problem that I have, of course, with this, and it might not work out, is a lot of times when I'm trying to do commentary or reaction videos, I tend to be very quiet. And I want to try and do something different. I want to try and talk throughout the entire video as much as possible. And of course, unlike other videos where I edit out the yawning, I'll probably yawn during the particular video. It doesn't mean I'm bored. It just means that I'm tired at the moment or whatever. And I yawn a lot of times when I'm like making videos because it's like very energy consuming or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So look forward to at least my anime version of Pokemon Sun and Moon in regards to what we know, as well as my review of the Noivern episode and whatever is going to be put in that review episode, and potentially look forward to the commentary of the Noivern episode. If you like it, if you enjoy it, maybe I can do more commentaries in the future of Pokemon episodes, but I just wanted to do this special since I'm really looking forward to tomorrow, basically, for the Noivern Zapdos episode. So anyway, that covers everything, so thank you for watching. I'm Dustin Benzel, and I will see you in my next video. Goodbye.